What made you wanna like, as in like your first startup? What made you want to get into the startup world? Like, what was that switch, or what happened that you ended up going that route? Because you said you were working at Deloitte, I think, before, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I started a company when I was in college. So when I was in college, there was I never knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. But while I was in college, towards the end of my college days, I joined this entrepreneurship class and was like, oh wow, like this is really interesting. And so me and a friend um, decided that we wanted to start a company, and we wanted to start a company that we could start with like kind of no funding. And we brainstormed a bunch of ideas and ultimately came up with a tutoring company. And so we would hire college students to tutor high school students. And so, just learned a ton about entrepreneurship by doing that, like how to hire people, how to get customers and stuff like that. And so I ended up taking a job as an accountant in San Francisco at Deloitte, but ultimately wanted to get into startups. I knew that I like wanted to be an entrepreneur at that point. And so, I was like, I'm going to go to a hackathon, or, how do I break into startups basically? And I signed up for this newsletter called Startup Digest. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, I
I
do.
think it's
Yeah.
still around. And, there was a hackathon that weekend called Startup Weekend. And the theme was like mobile apps. And so, I decided to go to that, and my team ended up winning first place. And then I just stopped showing up to work at Deloitte, and then we ended up raising a seed round. And so, I quit my job, and then I've been working on startups basically ever since then.
That was for Banjo.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
yeah,
And how was that experience? Because you guys like raised what, over $100 million something, right? How much you guys raised? Or
yeah.
200?
So most of that has been raised since I left the company. I was there for the first year
Okay.
through our Series A, and it was it was my first sort of like experience with like a tech startup. And so, learned a lot about, just the whole, like how to, Silicon Valley work, how do you raise money? How do you build a product? How do you like get users? How do you build a team? All of that kind of stuff, which was like, it was like, I went from like, reading TechCrunch and like aspiring to do this stuff and thinking, yeah, I want to go to a hackathon and like break into this world. And then just like, you know, got really, really lucky in like actually getting on a train with a startup like that. And so it was a really good learning experience for me. And then, ever since then, I've just been doing startups.
Love it.